Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the weekly reroll, the brand new show where we discuss what happened in this last week in all the different D&D shows going on. We have 6 shows to cover. We have Roleplay D&D, also known as Roleplay Solemn. We have Roleplay Eben. We have Misclicks. We have Dicing with Death. We've got Roleplay R&D. We've got Roleplay what's the last one? Dark Heresy. So we got 6 shows that we're going to cover, and we're going to do our best to get them. I don't watch Dark Heresy or R&D, so those notes are coming from someone else. Forgive me if I mispronounce the names. I'm sure I'll get the hang of it as we do more and more of these. So, without further ado, let's hop into this week in D&D. Starting off with Roleplay Solemn. Roleplay Solemn was a pretty good week this week. We just played it yesterday. It's nice and fun. The party left Nagara, headed north, and immediately encountered some trapdoor spiders, kicked the shit out of them. Spiders didn't even deal any damage to them. DM, slightly upset by this. Party moves on to the next town, have some shenanigans there, nothing that big of a deal, and they head out into the wilderness. Now, there was some talks about going east or maybe going south to like where the nice orcs are, you know, the orcs who are patrolling the streets and keeping crime down, but Victarion had this moment of genius where he's like, wait a minute, just because they're keeping crime down doesn't mean they're good orcs. It's still controlled by Verossi, right? And everyone's like, yeah, he's got a point. Maybe we shouldn't go there. Anyway, so they headed north to where the horse lords are, and kind of popped in from town to town. They made actually quite a bit of progress. I think in game time, we spent about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks traveling about. The party eventually came across this mighty wyvern that was circling them from above, and after 10 minutes of arguing about who can make the first attack and when the appropriate time for that sort of thing is, the wyvern descends on the party. Double criticals Jockey, also known as Jen. Brings Jockey down to like 4 life or something. Jockey pulls out an incredible strength check, and the wyvern pulls the worst strength check ever. I was going to assume the wyvern's got, alright, big beefy wyvern, I would say 19, 20 strength, it's 35 feet long, right? 19, 20 strength, sure. Something along those lines. Rolls a 2 on its strength check. For those of you doing math with us, that's like a 21 or a 22 on the strength check total. Jockey rolls a 16 plus his 13 strength, brings it, 29, way better than the wyvern's check. DM, super frustrated. Jockey rips open the grass because the wyvern flew down, grabbed him in the claws, and was about to take off, and he's just like, I'm too strong for you, wyvern, and heads out. The rest of the party slays the wyvern in what we like to call too easy of a battle. The players mocked me for it a lot. And then they stole the poison from the wyvern, which is class F, which means save versus death or die for man-sized creatures. So, yeah, that didn't go very well. Anyway, the party keeps traveling through the wilderness. They come across a few other towns. They hear, oh, the horse lords, kind of like, we're normal people around here, but when Verossi started taking over, they just switched sides and joined them. So they're actually humans and not orcs or something. Okay, that's cool. They're getting a hang of it, but they're pretty fucking brutal. The party continues going. They come across a dwarven town. They make fun of the dwarves. They make a lot of fun of the dwarves. What's his name? Jockey and, not Vincent Longborn, Victarion Black have a couple moments of bonding during the adventure, and Victarion almost gets the party in a world of shit when they come across 6 riders, and Victarion's like, hi, this is my family, that's my one-armed wife, that's my deformed 30-year-old son, ha, wait a minute, I'm only 23 years old, shit, what do I do? Worst lies ever created abound, and it takes everything I have not to just, like, throw a mountain at them. But they get through it when the guards, like, when the patrolmen are like, seriously, we're about to fuck you up if you don't give us the truth about this. Victarion's like, okay, and I roll some checks, some intelligence checks, he rolls some charisma checks, and somehow the guards buy the story. It was really fucking loose, and if it ever happens again, he's gonna die. And they move on from there to the next town, and we kind of left off there. Not a very heavy action week. Well, there were the trapdoor riders and the wyvern, but somehow those just died so quickly. Alright, next, let's do Roleplay Eben. So, Roleplay Eben, I'm a player, JP's the DM, just so we can keep track of these things. We're running around in underneath the town hall that the previous episode we took 2 hours to get into, even though we could have just walked into, so we're running around in the cellar below the town hall. We've already killed the spiders the previous week. This week, we come across this big thing wrapped up in spider silk. I'm like, oh my god, what is it? We go over there and we Open it up, and it's the boy that we've been looking for. Great. Riley and I take off. The other two players go deeper in, looking for stuff, eventually find nothing. We all meet up and head out. We pull apart open up the kid. The kid's dripping some fluid out of his body. People are unsure what's going on. We tell his dad. His dad gets pissed. It's upset. Riley takes this, or not Riley. Rich takes it very personally. He's reminded of the loss of his mother, wife. So he goes into a hardcore drinking bender with Riley. They go off and do that sort of thing. Ricardo and Largo go talk to Fix to be like, hey, Fix, we turned this in. Here's what's going on. Fix gives them a great deal, 75% off at the local magic store. Great deal is kind of, well, that could be great. That could be thousands and thousands of gold, or that could be not much because you don't want to buy anything. Rich is kind of upset. Riley's kind of upset. Largo's and Ricardo's. We also learn that there is a band of cultists in an abandoned town, house, not a town, a house, at the top of the hill. So we hear these cultists are doing some weird things. Maybe there's some organ harvesting going on. I don't know. Me as a player and as a character, I was not paying attention at that point in the game, so I kind of missed a lot of details. Doesn't matter. We go to the magic shop, and Ricardo goes in there. He's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? And he and the shop owner immediately get into a huge fight, which is actually, let's take a second and rewind. Rich and Ricardo get into a huge fight that almost ends in them killing each other when Ricardo's being a dick and Rich is being a dick, and they're both being dicks to each other, and then it gets escalated way too far, and eventually they cool down. Anyway, so let's fast forward again. Ricardo is having an argument with the shopkeeper, and Ricardo's being a massive dick to the shopkeeper. Then the shopkeeper starts being a dick back to Ricardo, and Rich steps in and is like, whoa, you can't make fun of that guy, he's my friend. And he settles some peace. Party continues to buy things. Riley gets a +1 longsword even after she made fun of people having magic weapons. Cobblepot gets +1 chainmail. Ricardo looks about, is like, you know what? I'm going to save my 75% off, which was actually 90% off because the party lied to him and said, oh yeah, Fix totally said it's 90% off. And he's like, all right, whatever. This is totally going to come back to bite us in the ass later. Ricardo decides to save his money and come back later for something else. Rich doesn't really know what he wants, but because he stood up for Ricardo and stood up for the shopkeeper earlier, he was a nice guy to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper takes him back into the store and gives him this magic ring. Now, we haven't announced what the magic ring is going to be. I know it's going to be. I don't think there's a reason not to announce what it's going to be, so we're just going to announce what it's going to be right now. It's a ring of regeneration, and hopefully JP's not watching this because he fucked up. Oh my god. He has no idea how strong that ring is. He didn't get it. He didn't get it. At first he checked the ring to make sure it's not too strong. He's like, oh, actually it's a little weak. I'm going to buff it for you. So, in D&D, you have rounds, which is, this round, next round, next round. This is a standard combat round. And then you have a turn. Turn is 10 rounds together. So 6 turns is an hour, right? So the ring is initially a ring of regeneration, 1 HP every turn, and 1 HP every 10 rounds. JP's like, you know what? That's not strong enough. Here, we're going to give it to you 1 HP every 3 rounds. Rich is invincible. Unless someone gets Rich to below -10 in one shot, or gets them to -8 or 9 when the ring had just kicked in earlier that round, so it's not going to kick in for a few more rounds, he can't die because the regeneration will stop the bleeding from almost dying. Rich is now fucking immortal. On top of that, I can just wear the ring for an hour, and then give it to him who can wear the ring for an hour, and him to the ring for an hour, and him to wear a ring for an hour, and now we have full HP for the entire party. I don't think he understands what he's done. It's okay. Please don't tell him. He's not watching. Let him suffer. And he gave me a ring of regeneration. What the fuck? I'm going to abuse this, and it's going to be beautiful, and then he's going to learn, oh, that's why Neil was so harsh about magic items and not giving them out. Holy fucking shit, that's way too strong. Yeah, it's going to be fucking sick, okay? Anyway, that's enough for roleplay Eben. Let's hop into the misclicks. Alright, misclicks was a very, very heavy RP session, and it was great. We had such a good time with misclicks. So, the backstory is they've gotten into this town, and they're trying to decipher this note in Dwarven. They're also trying to get their ship fixed and finding a few new crew members and whatnot. So, Lily has already kind of started flirting with this Dwarven goldsmith, Brack. They're flirting. Lily ramps it up. She brings it up to the next level. They start making out, basically practically start making out. They go back to the ship. Lily's like, hey, I can take us into this portal, this extra dimensional space, and we can go make out up there. Ha ha ha. The dwarf's like, let's do it. They climb up. They use rope trick, climb up into the extra dimensional portal. The dwarven goldsmith, Brack, fire in his eyes. You know, the moonlight bouncing off the oceans, reflecting into their faces up in the extra dimensional space. Leans forward to kiss her. Rolls a 1 on his charisma check. Lets out a nasty, nasty fart. Lily, she reacts to it poorly. She laughs. She's like, oh my god, where'd that come from? Did you do that? That smells awful. Blacksmith, mortified. He's so embarrassed. He's got this girl. He's into her. And then he just, sometimes you can't control all the muscles in your body perfectly well. Sometimes like, oh, that'll hold. Oh shit, that doesn't hold. Anyway, Goldsmith is mortified. He comes up with some half-hearted excuses. Oh, your ship is making weird noises and smelling. He gets really flustered and bounces. Lily kind of chases him down. It doesn't help that there was the, ew, that's gross, coming from Lily, and then when they get down on the ship, the rest of the party is just kind of standing around on the ship, so he's clearly like, fuck, they heard everything that we said. They probably heard the fart. They probably heard that. Oh my god, I'm so mortified. So he hops off and runs off. Lily chases him down and is like, it's okay, I don't mind if you fart. Let's see you tomorrow. And she does it in kind of a cute way, and he's like, okay, maybe this isn't, fuck it, I'm leaving, but maybe this isn't the end of the world, right? Anyway, next day, Faye goes into town with the rest of the party looking for that black pearl for the ingredients to save her brother. They find the black pearl. It's in this beautiful armband, and it's going for way too much money. They haggle for a while. The guy's like, all right, eventually I'll rip the black pearl out of this armband and sell it to you for a slightly cheaper price. Party acquiesces. They go back. They get some money. They buy the black pearl. Everyone's happy. They split. And as soon as they split, December's like, we should go back and steal all the money we just gave him for the black pearl. Everyone's like, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's do that. So December, did I say Lily? I meant December. Whatever, doesn't matter. December said that. Now December stalks the guy, sees where he goes. He goes into this place called the Mighty Arm. She doesn't know what it is, but she hangs out outside for a little bit. And after watching for a few moments, she decides to do a perimeter check to see if there's any other doors anywhere. Does the perimeter check, doesn't see anything. This is the point where he walked out of the shop when she was walking in the alley behind him. And then they continue to watch the shop for the next day and a half or something, hoping that the guy will come out, and he never does. It's because he left earlier. Shh. They get their ballista repaired. Faye tries to flirt with the ballista repairman, but he's kind of a dick, so she's like, fuck it. I'm just going to stretch and practice and do yoga and pray and be monk-like. Anyway, the party finally, no, not finally. Lily is going around looking for some potions of resist acid because, well, we got the pearl now. Now we're going to need to go deal with some hydras. And hydras have acid. Or, something. Why do they want a potion of resist acid? Hydras don't have acid. I don't know. They wanted a potion of resist acid for something. So they look for it. They find a shopkeeper that sells it. Lily immediately starts flirting with the shopkeeper. They're having a great time. They hit it off pretty well. They go out drinking. Lily sees the dwarf there, the dwarf that she was supposed to be hanging out with. I mean, she did kind of step in to visit him, but she was kind of weird about it. And the dwarf was like, what the fuck is with this girl? I don't know if I can take this anymore. Anyway, she goes and she's like, oh, well, the dwarf didn't want to hang out with me or, whatever. I'm going to try and make him jealous by flirting with this tall, elven magic user right now. And so she flirts with him. The Brack, the golden dwarf, the dwarven goldsmith, not the golden dwarf smith, is in the corner with his friends, having a great time. Doesn't even notice that Lily's there. Lily's trying to get him jealous all night. Goldsmith has his back towards, talking with his friends, doesn't even notice. Eventually, after the magic user leaves, Lily goes to talk with Brack, and Brack's like, oh, you're here. Well, I'm hanging out with my friends. I can't talk to you now. I'll see you later. He was kind of off-put by it, because Lily was clearly trying to hop in on something, and he was having a good time with his friends, and didn't want the random girl that he was kind of dating, but not really dating, to come in and ruin the time that he was having. Lily goes back to try and talk to him again, but it's falling apart. Their relationship is just not working. She keeps coming in at awkward times, saying strange things, and he's like, what? What? I don't understand you. I don't get you, Lily. But he doesn't, emote that much because he's a dwarf and dwarves that way. So Lily gets the dwarf to read the slip, and it says that the note in Dwarven, they found something under the iron rock, something old. Excavation will take time. My guy on the inside says he saw a massive crystal or jewel. The party's intrigued by this. Lily told him that she found it in a book in the library. and that she tore it out and came to him to translate it. Brack, being the nice guy that he is like, all right, well, you should put it back. Someone clearly left that there for someone else, and it's important. You're going to get yourself in trouble, which is his way of being like, I know you're lying to me. Whatever this is like a big deal. You're going to be in trouble. Be careful. He's trying to be nice and, let her keep her ridiculous story. Oh, yeah, I found this crazy note about treasure in a book in the library, and I just happened to come across it. I just happened to pull it out and ask you to read it to me. Totally inconspicuous. Woo! Right? Anyway, later that night, the party decides to break into the shopkeeper's place. Oh, before we do that, they found out that the shopkeeper went to hire a bodyguard. The mighty arm is a mercenary dealer, so to speak. The party also hired an orc from there, and the orc's like, okay, cool. They make a deal with the orc to protect the ship, and great, we're gonna go protect. You're hired to protect our ship with us. But first, we're gonna go break into this place and steal some stuff. And he's like, no, I'm hired to protect the ship. Fuck you. I'm not breaking into things. I may be a mercenary, but I have some standards. He doesn't say it out that way because he's an orc. So he heads back to the ship. The party goes to the break-in. They can't see a way in because there's only one window on the second floor, and you can't really get to the rooftops. And fuck, what are we going to do? All right, fuck it. We're going to climb in through this window. They climb in through the window, not through the willow. They climb in through the window and kill the shopkeeper and his wife while they sleep in bed. As they're climbing in, Avacyn just fucking walks off. The party's getting in. People are standing on shoulders trying to get in through this window, and Avacyn just turns and walks down the street and disappears. And what the hell happened here? And some of them, they're kind of hurt. They're a little bit hurt, and they express a bit like, what? Whatever, we didn't need her anyway. Pfft, she wasn't even pulling her weight. Pfft, whatever, stupid Avacyn. But you can tell they're a little hurt on the inside. Anyway, they ransack the shop. They're being as quiet as possible. They spend 4 hours searching the shop. They find 2 chests. One of them is embedded in the wall. It's a big, heavy wall safe made of iron or steel or lead or something ridiculous that you can't carry. And there's a key for it. And December keeps trying to pick the lock, and she keeps rolling terribly, and it's not working. Eventually, she rolls a 19 or a 20 on her pick locks thing, and it still isn't open. She's like, well, fuck it, I can't open this thing. The second box they come across is a small little wooden box, about yay big or whatever, and there's no lock on it. There's no lock or anything, and it just won't open. We're gonna just wait a minute, maybe it's magical. Hold on, curiouser. So sun is rising, and well, we can't get into this big box. Let's just take the little one with us. So they take the little box, which is really well hidden, by the way, and they bolt. Ballista's repaired. I think I already said that. When they get back to the ship, they come across a note from Avacyn that reads, Faye, Lily, and December. I cannot go to Beggar's Cove. Oh, rewind time. I forgot about Beggar's Cove. Meanwhile, before they break into the shop, December comes into a bar early morning, sees a drunken man unconscious on the floor, and another one sitting at the table or the bar, plastered out of his mind, goes up, does the cheesiest, most ridiculous flirting with him ever. The guy's so far gone. December's like, hey, want to come back to my place? Maybe have some fun? He's like, that sounds great. And she's like, oh, I need help dragging my crew or my guy to my ship. He's like, oh, hey, Frank, because he knows the guy, but he's too drunk to put 2 and 2 together. So he drags Frank, head bouncing on the sidewalk and down the pier all the way to the ship. The guy's probably got some serious brain damage by now. They go back into the ship. The guy tries to hit on December. He has arm around her, grabs her ass at one point. December just beats him bloody in the face. Oh, I'm sorry, you fell. I don't know how you hit your head. And he's like, oh. Anyway, so she kidnaps. I shouldn't have done air quotes. She hires 2 new people for the crew, when in reality she just kidnapped them. One guy was even unconscious. He's going to wake up on a ship and be like, how the fuck did I get here? Where am I? The other guy is thinking that he's getting lucky with this girl, and then she puts him to bed and tells him a boring story until she falls asleep. So that's going to be interesting. Meanwhile, there's a guy who's like, hey, I know you guys are Captain Anemoy. I've seen Lily's bouncing red hair. I know she's Captain Anemoy. Okay, he's wrong on this account, but he's pretty good. That's pretty great, but he's still wrong. She's not Captain Anemoy, but I can understand the confusion. Why would you ever have 4 captains on a pirate ship? Whatever. It's D&D. Let it roll. Haha, nice pun. Didn't even mean that. Anyway, so he's like, hey, I want passage. And they're like, all right, well, tell us where you're going. And how much we'll charge you that. And he's like, you don't know where I'm going? I know you're Captain Animal. Dude, I'm going to Beggar's Cove. And like, what the fuck's Beggar's Cove? He's like, all right, well, that's my payment is letting you know where Beggar's Cove is because I know you're a pirate. I know you're wanted for all these wonderful things. I will show you the way to Beggar's Cove in exchange for safe passage there. And like, what's Beggar's Cove? It's like, it's a pirate safe haven. It's like our little town out in the middle of nowhere. And like, oh my god, that sounds awesome. I want to go so bad. So they go. Anyway, that was the lead up. Meanwhile, after Avacyn leaves and they go back on the ship after the failed burglary. Well, burglary? Failed? It's questionable. They did kill 2 people. They find the note that Avacyn left, and it reads, Faye, Lily, and December. I cannot go to Beggar's Cove. It's time for me to follow my way back to the royal court. Trust your instincts. They have not been wrong. You will always have a trusted friend in me. When you return to Valis, I will help you however I can. Seek out Joshua at the Innkeeper's Tavern, and he will help you find me. Avacyn. Nice note. They're like, okay, interesting. All right, whatever. Okay. And that's it. That's it for Misclicks. Wow, that was a bit of a longer recap than I intended, but that was Misclicks this last week. Next week, they're going to be headed to Beggar's Cove, probably to return this person, or maybe they're going to go to, what did they call it? The Iron Mountain? Iron Rock? Under the Iron Rock? Yeah. So, we'll see where they're headed. Also, they announced that Jeff in Control Robinson, aka Anna's husband, will be a guest star on the show, or make a guest appearance on the show. All right, next episode, next game. We got to move through these. We're a little bit behind schedule. Dicing with Death. Whew. Dicing with Death. That was it was a great game today. Yesterday, I've rarely had that much fun playing. Solomon goes full rage mode. He wanders into Javis, being like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I am going to find this shaman, and I'm going to bring him back. Walks into Javis. People are like, oh my god, I can't believe he's here. He's just like walking through. He points at people, like, where's the shaman? He's super pissed. Eventually, that like big hulking guy with the spear and the shield comes out, and he's like, ha ha ha, I will defeat you. And see, because Solomon was hoping to torture the poor shaman to get, so he would translate things for him. So he had memorized 7, that's right, 7 cause fears, because he was just going to like cause fear on the shaman and then sit on him and make him suffer and suffer and suffer. So he walks into this town with 7 cause fears. No combat spells other than that. So the big hulking champion of the town comes up, and Solomon's like, fuck it, cause fear, and the guy runs. Solomon makes his way to the hut of the shaman, and the guy shows back up, and Solomon's like, cause fear, and the guy runs again, pissing his pants the whole way. Solomon comes in, starts battling with the shaman casts some cool spells, and is about to like dive out the hole that Solomon broke out of his hut last time, but Solomon gets an attack of opportunity because he turns his back and jumps up the thing, whaps him in the back of the head with the quarterstaff, knocks him out. Everyone's happy. Solomon starts dragging the shaman down the boardwalk, and then everyone's kind of like looking and watching and waiting. And the champion comes back, and Solomon's like, cause fear again. Get out of here. And the guy runs away again. Then Solomon has the great idea, you know what? There was a thing that was boiling over in the shaman's hut. Fuck it. So he leaves the shaman on the boardwalk, kind of near the people. Terrible decision, but that's what Solomon would do. He's so in his trance, he's so in his rage that he's going to do that thing. And he wants to cause terror. He's so pissed off right now. Walks back into the shaman's hut, sets it on fire because there's like a little fiery thingy burning and boiling water and whatnot. And then goes back out, and the shaman's gone. The shaman is gone! Someone in the town took the shaman and hit him. He starts asking left, right, center, trying to get people to answer, like, where is the shaman? He's pissed. No one answers. People start running. He calls out people. He gets his whip out. He starts whipping people. People disperse and run away. The champion, or he uses another cause fear. The champion shows up. He causes fear again, I think. I'm kind of losing track of how many times he's caused fear, but it was underneath his number. Solomon's like, fuck this shit. I'm going to burn this town to the ground until they tell me where he is. So he goes back to the shaman's hut, which is clearly on fire now, and has like started taking part of the dock with him, rips up one of the boards from the dock that's on fire, takes that and starts going from building to building to building in the town, setting them on fire. The champion comes back again and is like, ho, 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 you're going to have to fight me at some point. Solomon's like, fine, I'll fight you. Kills him. destroys him, gets a couple of really lucky dagger hits in there, and takes him down. Retrieves his daggers and proceeds to continue burning the town, yelling as he goes through, "Where is the shaman?" And no one is responding. No one's responding. "Where is the shaman?" Burning building, burning building. "Where is the shaman? I will make you all suffer and die." Eventually, three random guys, three sailors off of some ship come. Two of them have clubs. One of them's got a something or other. Solomon's like, "You bitches." Kills one of them right away. The other two hit him, both doing, one of them doing 6 damage, one of them doing 5 damage. Solomon's unconscious. Middle of his rage mode, middle of tearing the town apart, Solomon gets beaten unconscious by a couple of randoms in town. They're like 0th level characters. They had D8 hit points plus 0 to hit, and they got like a D6 club. Solomon falls unconscious. He wakes up a few days later. He was at -2. He wakes up a few days later, tied to a post, and the whole town surrounding him. Half the town's been burned down by now. And they're all like, "You are evil, you will pay." And Solomon is freaking out. I was like, "Shit, I'm going to die, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Hold on, Methuselah is there. If I'm not there to stop her, something worse is you need to translate those runes so I can save the world from Methuselah." They're not having any of it, which is great because it's a retarded story, but you know what? He didn't have any other choice. So they all spit on him and wipe some blood on him, and then they toss him in a boat. Him and he's tied to the stake hands behind his back. They toss him in the boat, set it on fire, and push him into the river. Solomon's freaking out, and we proceed to have probably the greatest moments in D&D history right here, where I am desperately trying to figure out a way to save myself, and Ryan's just like, "Well, what are you doing? You're gonna die. You're dead. You're basically dead. Can you think of anything to do?" I come up with like a million cool things to try and escape, and eventually none of them work. It comes down to the point where I have freed my leg. I've gotten out of the burning boat. I'm floating in the water, but I can't swim, so I'm drowning. I have 5 con, and you can hold your breath for one half your con round up. So I can hold my breath for 1/3 your con round up. So I can hold my breath for 3 rounds. I do this. I hold my breath for the 3 rounds, and in the 3rd round, I manage to free my legs. I push them out, and I managed to break away and kind of be able to start swimming, maybe, kind of. I freed myself from the log, so I can possibly escape the situation. It's not over. It's not over. All I have to do is make a constitution check to keep swimming for 1 more round. 1 more round is all I need, and then I could be free. And I fail my constitution check and drown. Solomon is dead. Dicing with Death is not over, but Solomon is dead, and we switched it up. Now, I am the DM. Ryan is the character. He made a guy named Beryl. He is in Holy City Emberstone, which is in the world of Solemn. And he is kind of the son of one of the noble families in the town. And the adventure starts with him at a bar with his best friend, Jackson, hanging out, kicking back, when all of a sudden this guy gets murdered in like this really posh, upscale, like gentleman's club level place. Like not like strippers gentleman's club, but like old school gentleman's club where there's big soft chairs, kind of dim lights, nice waiters, everyone's getting like expensive drinks, like an officer's club or like, hoity-toity sort of place. Anyway, a guy gets murdered. Everyone's like, "Oh." Beryl, Ryan's character, chases after him, corners him, finds him, stabs him, kills him, and it turns out, shit, it was the son of one of the wealthiest people in town. Holy shit. What are you going to do? Well, guards come, take away the body. There's a little court trial about it. Turns out that, no one else saw this person leave. Like, no one recognized him in the bar, and no one else had chased him out. So it's really Beryl's word that, yeah, this is the guy I chased from the bar, against the word of the kid's family being like, "Well, my son would never murder anyone. What the fuck?" And eventually the priest who rules over this decides that, you know what, there's not enough evidence one way or the other. We're just going to leave this be because it sounds like Beryl really did the right thing and he was the only person who actually had the balls to chase down a murderer, while the rest of you pansies in the bar just sat there being bitches. So yeah, that's that. The family's pissed. The family's called the Rothschilds. They're super pissed. Beryl decides to investigate, figure out why this other person was murdered, and he finds that there's a little bit of bad blood going on here. The person that was murdered was from I'm slowing down so I can remember the family name. From some family. I don't have it in my notes. He was from some family. And that family was like the lowest of the low merchants, well, second of the lowest of the low of noble families. There's 3 merchant families that are like in the noble range, and this is like the middle one. And they do a lot of trading with the elves, and Beryl's talking with the guy's dad who died, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well the Rothschilds have been like telling me to stop my dealing with the elves because they've got some shit going on there, and it's kind of being problematic." And so Beryl's like, "Wait a minute, maybe this isn't just some random murder. Maybe I didn't get the wrong person. It sounds like the Rothschilds sent their youngest son to go kill this guy to send a message. Uh-oh." So Beryl goes back to his house, talks to one of his elven servants, because he's a wealthy noble. He's got servants of all kind. It's a little bit, presumptuous and kind of jackassish about things because, he's talking to one of his servants. So whatever. He's kind of a dick to her, but not really. He's just like, he's so wealthy he can't relate to her because she's a servant. So he's like, "Where do you people hang out?" Blah, blah, blah. So they talk, and she's like, "Well, I'll set you up with some of my friends if you want. You need to change, like, less nice clothes that also don't have a wound in your leg from it." And it sounds like there's some sort of, like, elven secrets that got spilled in a town, and they're going to probably take a look at that. So that's it for Dicing with Death. Oh my god, we only have 15 minutes to recap R&D and Dark Heresy, and I haven't seen either of them. And so here's the deal. My mods, my beautiful, beautiful, lovely mods, who I appreciate so much, did the recaps for R&D and for Dark Heresy. They did a great job of recapping it. In fact, they did too good of a job recapping it. I'm not sure how to go through all this in the next 15 minutes, so we're just going to try, all right? Here we go. I'm just going to read from their notes. The party exits the spire and begins descending the mountain, trying to fast travel. 2 battle rolls later, the party has to fight 3 young wyverns. Interesting. Another wyvern encounter. Lady Amsel, DJ Wheat, destroys the one he fights. Duncan helps Lobelia, and she hits who the hell is Duncan? And she hits a sick dagger shot and kills one. Fink tries to act showing off, failing and is saved by Nose the dog. Getting to the gates of the town Jeon, they meet a guard who Duncan hits it off with. After she finds out he's a minstrel, she invites him to the house. We find out that Duncan was 10 when he first had sex with a gnome named Pepper Potts, who was much older than him. Interesting. He goes with her to the house for a little more hitting on, but failing in the end. When this is happening, when the party goes to the Church of the God of Travel and Hospitality, and meet the priest Warwich. Lady Amsel, still DJ Wheat, gets her book back from Lobelia, and everyone goes to sleep. Lobelia hears whisperings of people talking about her and Duncan. Duncan is JP, being the ones trying to scam the mayor, and decide to take Duncan with her to sell the tapestry, which he convinces her would sell for more than beads. Okay, I don't know what the beads are, but the tapestry will sell for more than beads. They get caught by a guard, and Duncan talks his way out of the false charges. Yeah, right. The party tries throwing a party, but no one has enough money. I guess they're all broke. Duncan storms out and goes to the mayor, Johns is the mayor? Goes to the mayor, Johns. Duncan gets his butt slapped there, I guess. The party meet a young girl/boy. They don't really know because Steven won't tell them. I guess Steven's the DM. The girl boy is named Scratch. And skill in Burglar 2 and Warrior 2, Loyalty 0, cost money. Not sure what that means, but for those of you watching R&D, there you go. Skill in Burglar 2 and Warrior 2, Loyalty 0, cost money. Have fun, R&D people. They also meet an elven female named Chana. Skill Tracker 2, Minstrel 1, Loyalty 1, cost, good accomplished. Okay, I guess that's what it takes to get them in to hang out with you. They've got a skill. Okay, cool. It makes sense. They also meet an elven female named Chana, who has a history with Duncan. They played a duet together, which was amazing. Lobelia uses her adventurer's pack to pull out a beautiful tapestry, giving it to the bartender as leverage until they get riches from the tomb of Cathris. They set out on a perilous journey to the secret waterfall called Dagger Falls, which is an entrance to the tomb of Cathris. But with Chana's help, they get there safely. Lobelia jumps through the waterfall, getting soaked and cold, having to use her adventurer's pack to pull out a warm wool blanket to warm her up. Lady Amsel uses prestidigitation. Uses a spell to slip into the waterfall, to split the waterfall in two, allowing the rest of the party to walk through without getting soaked. Duncan opens up a secret door by putting Willie's Willy is his flute, into the crevice. Fink, also known as Day 9, steps on a trap but is saved by Lobelia. Scratch then goes in first, finds it too dark, and comes back. Lady Amsel casts light on his or her shirt, and it shines bright like a star, and Scratch then proceeds to go down into the dungeon. They turn a wheel that opens a segment in the wall into a large room, circular chamber, left and right, two doors. I don't want to say in the notes. In the center is a dome ceiling and a blackened pool raised in the center. On the edges of the stone rim are words inscribing the 4 granite stone gargoyles, crouched facing outwards with 8 on the ceiling looking down. Fink walks up to the stone gargoyles. As he does, he reads the words on the stone pool and says, "Unlocked are the double doors of the horizon, unlocked are its bolts." Nice writing. The cleric then casts words of the unspeaking and asks 3 questions. 1. What secret lies behind the door to the left? Answer, bones and death. 2. Who is the singing minstrel from the door to the right? Answer, the song you hear is the song of Yana Hearthstone. She sings a song of mourning. 3. What is the liquid in the pool? Answer, the liquid resonates with the knowledge of 1,000 years. The gargoyle turns its head, its mouth opens, bearing its sharp teeth. Now, I'm not sure if that's part of the answer or if that happened, because it says, answer, the liquid resonates with the knowledge of 1,000 years. The gargoyle turns its head and its mouth opens, bearing its sharp teeth. Is that the answer, or is that just I'm pretty sure that's part of the answer. Anyway, that's it for Roleplay R&D. I hope that made sense to you guys, because it didn't make any sense to me. But you know what? Going further, as we do more of these recaps, it's going to make more sense to me, because I will have seen what happened in the previous weeks. So, forgive the rough start on week 1. Last but not least, we have Roleplay Dark Heresy, the once every 3.5 months campaign. Week 6. The party starts underground inside the shrine, dedicated to Saint Samson, meeting a decrepit old something or other priest named Zarkov, and the 3 battle sisters of the Adepta sororities, one named Kalia, and the other 2 were not named. Accompanying them was Earl Thalia and Matron Phaedrus. Zarkov offers to let them use his elevator. Engelbert, Total Biscuit, checks the elevator and finds the wires needed to reinforce to carry them all. As he begins to do this, he notices Fricks inquiring of Zarkov about void text, who was of an order which considers such knowledge heretical. Heretical? It's a heresy to know that shit, guys. Zarkov immediately departs to fetch the Adeptus sororities. Engelbert then hastens and reinforces. Engelbert hastens the reinforcement process, and everyone hurries into the elevator. The doors close just as the battle sisters arrive. Jeff, yells out, "Call me!" as they begin to ascend. I can totally see Jeff doing that. Engelbert is contracted by Kalia. Kalia. Demanding information about Fricks. Engelbert smoothed things over by dropping Inquisitor Hadrix, Ishmael Ignacio Jacobim, the fourth's name? It's a long name. Don't make me repeat it. Matron Phaedrus is then informed via her Vox communicator that Engelbert was caught on camera murdering the mortician of House Phaedrus, Mortician Victus. She confronts Jax with this information, who refuses to take Engelbert into custody, claiming that Engelbert is part of his team and there must be some extenuating circumstances. She claims her intent to inform Arbitas and have Engelbert arrested. The party plans to perform their own investigation into what happened. Upon reaching the appropriate level of Hive Uxtras, they realize they have no idea where or how to find the house Phaedrus from where they are. They enter a shop run by a purveyor of fine jewelry, Horkenfriend. After a diplomatic purchase, they are provided with directions. Upon departing, they realize they should probably hide Engelbert, who himself suggests the Mechanius Spire. They return to Horkenfriend after some amusing misunderstandings and poor attempts at subtlety. Fricks finds herself being shown a scroll about the void Horkenfiend. About the Void by Horkenfriend. God, why is that name so hard for me to pronounce? Engelbert busts in and confronts Horkenfriend for being in possession of heretical documents. Horkenfriend pulls in an Inferno pistol on Engelbert, and combat ensues. Eventually, the party defeats Horkenfriend with minimal personal injury and loots the Inferno pistol, a bizarre explosive device which they defuse the warp scroll and some beans. What is it with the beans, guys? Was that beans ahead or was that beads ahead earlier? Nope, that was a totally different campaign. Never mind. Haha, beans and beads are all the same anyway. I'm sorry. They loot the Inferno pistol, the warp scroll, some beans, along with whatever else they find in the shop. Here ends the session, and here ends week 1 of the weekly reroll. Sorry, we were a little bit late, and yeah. I'm excited for this new show. I think it's been great. We're going to do some more recaps. Every week we're going to do this. We're going to kind of cover all the shows. That way you can keep up with things and you can maybe get interested in some shows. See what you like. So that's that. That's it for the weekly reroll. If you guys stick around, in 4 minutes, we're going to be doing cartography, where we get to make maps and name names, name cities in the world of Solemn. That's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.